Hey there, Jeff here, your YouTube reviewer of New Hampshire and New England brews. Staying in New Hampshire, I have something that's highly unusual. At least it's something I've never seen or heard of before. It comes from New Hampshire. It's from the Manchester Brewing Company outside of Concord, New Hampshire. And I have here today Emperor Norton's Peppermint Stout. And that's what I said, Emperor Norton's Peppermint Stout. Now, I had their cinnamon stout, and I was actually fairly impressed with their cinnamon stout. But I've never heard of, at least I've never heard of anything called a peppermint stout. Now, I grow mints in my own yard around my house, but I must admit I've never considered putting any of those mints into a beer. So this will be an experience for me as well. This particular beer has a very simple label. This gentleman, who seems to be very happily playing with something there with a beard, and Manchester does like to use these sort of black and white old style looking pictures for most of their brews. This particular one is a 5.5% ABV. It's a winter seasonal, and so this is at the tail end of the season when I'm trying this. I'm going to pour it into my Fuller's glass, which is from England. So let's pop the top off and see what we might find out of this. Well, there's a real good aroma of smoke coming out of here. It really seems to be coming up pretty well, and so that looks pretty good. Okay, now let's take a look at the let's take a pour. Let's pour this into the glass and see what we get. A very good angle I'm pouring it at for the angle on the camera. But I do like the color. I mean, it really has a good stout color to it. It does seem to have a pretty good dark, almost black, rich black look to it. And that's very good for a stout. The top is nice and creamy. It has that really very tan, almost dark, almost brown, foamy, frothy sort of head. It runs about a finger or so. Seems to have some pretty good stability in there. So it really looks like a stout is supposed to look. Now I'm standing maybe a couple of feet above it, and I do notice the aroma a little bit. So let me just take a good whiff and see what we have here. Okay, my senses really only pick up the sort of coffee and chocolate aroma. I don't really pick up the peppermint that much. Now, the label said made with peppermints, lots of them. So, and I don't really pick up too much of that right now. I mean, I do notice a hint of it in there, but from the reviews I read on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate, I got the impression that the peppermint would be overpowering. But my particular bottle, it is not like that. So, so who knows? We'll give it a taste and see. Okay, the taste, that's where you get your peppermint. At least I do. I'm getting more of a peppermint flavor, along with the chocolate and coffee malts that you get in a stout. The mouthfeel is actually fairly durable, fairly heavy duty. I'd say medium to heavy. Definitely that flavor does have that peppermint hint there. It's quite noticeable in the taste, not so much in the aroma for me. But to each his own. Each review is different. Depends on the bottle you get, I suppose. A lot of the reviews I read on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate said lots of peppermint. This one I notice really has a peppermint flavor, but it also got this kind of smokiness in there as well. But it's actually kind of nice. It's definitely unique. Now that's a good word. Unique. Individual. How's that? There's another good word for it. Individual. I try to look at everything positive. You'll never see me give anything an A+, and you'll never see me give anything an F. But everywhere in between is okay. This one, though, isn't too bad. It's got sort of a coffee grind flavor to it, burnt coffee grinds. And the peppermint, though, is really in the background, but it's definitely very unique in that regard. And I've never really had anything quite like it before. But all in all, it's a stout. And the peppermint just kind of adds this sort of peppery flavor in the background. But the bottom line, this is a stout. You ought to try it once. Try anything once, okay? Especially if you really like to try different types of beer. You ought to try anything once. And this Emperor Norton's Peppermint Stout is something you need to try once. So So thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you another time.